Are you looking for affordable land in Florida? Today I'm going to show you 4 properties in Putnam County, all of which can be purchased with owner financing. So let's get into it. Now, these 4 properties are being sold by my company, Gokche Capital. You can find all of our lots at land.gokcap.com. And here's what we're going to cover in today's live stream. I'm going to go over all the details about each of these 4 properties from our own due diligence checklist. Then I will cover how you can purchase the properties with owner financing, as well as how to buy the lot altogether, and I'll end with our free land giveaway promotion. All right, so you can find all of our properties at land.gokcap.com. Here we do have an interactive map, so you can zoom in and out on your area of interest to find whether there's a property that interests you. So we are looking at some of our Florida properties up here in northern Florida, just south of Jacksonville. This is Putnam County. It's kind of the middle portion of the peninsula. And if you scroll down to our table here, these are going to be properties 791, 792, 795, and 799. So I will note that these are our internal numbering. They don't have anything to do with the property's lot number in the legal description. So don't try and look up the property in the county records with this number. But if you want to find these properties on our listing page, it's 791, 792, 795, and 799. So let's start with 791. Right, so this is 0.22 acres in Putnam County. And hi, Southern Grits, good to see you again. Thank you for joining. I believe you're a local, right? Or at least near the area. So happy to hear any comments you might have about the location. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are in northern Florida, a little ways away from Jacksonville. And in the nearby vicinity, you do have the town of Palatka over here to the east. It's the closest larger town. There is a hospital here, which you can actually see in our map. And the St. Johns River is just outside of Palatka as well. Also in the nearby vicinity, there are a number of wildlife management areas and a state park, so a lot of outdoor recreation. And of course, all of these lakes in the area. This is a region known for its lakes. The closest lake to the property, all of these properties, is Lake Grandin, which does have good fishing. And again, here's the property. The closest small town is Interlaken, where you could get basic amenities. Now, the parcels are all located in this subdivision. I say subdivision, but there's no HOA. But this subdivision just to the north of Interlaken, you can see that there have been homes built in this area, but it's still fairly private. Homes are spaced apart. It's very green. It has a lot more of the rural sort of old Florida feel, I like to say. And we like this area a lot because, as you'll see in a little bit, this is a very affordable region in Florida to buy land and homes. And they also have fairly flexible zoning. So it's a good spot if you want to buy land and put up an affordable home. And we'll get into the zoning and how flexible it is and what is allowed on the property in a little bit. All right. But first, let's take a look at some drone footage so you can see what the property actually looks like. All right, so it is fronted by a dirt road, which is in good condition. You can see it's currently a treed lot. This area is very green, as I was saying. And we have the full drone footage here, so let's pull that up. Let me go back to the beginning. So we do start all of our drone footage with a Matterport scan. So this is like an on-the-ground panoramic, so you get a sense of what the property looks like on the ground. Here you can see the interior of the property. As I said, it is treed at the moment. The surrounding area is very green, so we can see that here. There are power lines nearby, which is important if you want to build over here, and the property's down here. So they're about maybe a quarter, half a block away. Okay, so that's the surrounding area. You can see the full drone footage on our listing page. Now, if we scroll down, we do have some lot details here. If you did want to look up the parcel in the county records, we give you the assessor's parcel number, and you can use this number if you want to call the county to do your research or look for it in online records. We also have the legal description, which could help pull it up. And we have a link to the approximate center point coordinates in Google Maps. So if you wanted to go visit the property, which you're welcome to do so at any time, you may visit any of our properties when you would like. You can use that Google link that we provide to find directions to the property. And these are approximate center point coordinates, so they don't replace a survey. We actually have all the approximate GPS coordinates, but they could give you a pretty good sense of where the property is when you go visit it, or if you just want to look at it on online maps using the GPS coordinates. And annual property taxes are also very low here, under $90. And we are zoned R2. I wanted to call that out because I'm going to show you the allowable uses and how flexible the zoning is. So the last thing I'll note, no HOA, and well and septic would be required here. Right, so let's look at allowable uses. Again, according to our research, this is zoned residential to R2. So I pulled up the zoning ordinance here so we can see allowable uses. And you are allowed to put in a single family home and a mobile home, which is great because a lot of areas are now restricting mobile homes, manufactured homes. This area allows it, and that's a very affordable way that people become homeowners. They buy an expensive parcel of land and they put a manufactured home on it. You are also allowed recreational uses here as well. And I believe it may have been you Southern Grits who called this out, but we did recently look up tiny homes as well. And according to our research, tiny homes are allowed in Putnam County in the R2 zone, as long as the home is at least 400 square feet and on a permanent foundation. Now, I will say you should always confirm all of this information with the county yourself. Do your own research about what you would like to build on the property, but that's great news that tiny homes are allowed, because I know many people are looking for lots that allow tiny homes. The only thing I will say is that according to our research, RVs are full-time RV living is no longer allowed. There are some exceptions. You can get buy 3 lots, get 1 free. Hi, Zaphael. We could not give a whole property away free, although we do have a free land giveaway promotion that I'll show in a little bit. But according to our research, you can get a temporary use permit for RVs if you're building a home, you had a home destroyed or badly damaged in a natural disaster, or you have some kind of medical condition. And you can reach out to the county about how to get that temporary permit as well. Okay. Now let's run this property through our basic due diligence that we use Land ID for, just to check for major red flags like wetlands or flood zones that would prevent you from being able to build on the property. All right. So let's take a look at some of these overlays. So first, contour lines. Now this is Florida, so I wouldn't expect it to be very sloped. It is a relatively flat lot at an elevation of about 140 feet. And yeah, I know. That was our research. I think Southern Grits was saying thought RVs are allowed. But when we gave them a call, they said, yeah, RVs are not allowed. So that's interesting. Maybe they recently changed the rules, or maybe it depends on who you talk to in the county, because sometimes that's the case. But yeah, that's interesting that they would allow tiny homes and not RVs. No. Right. So, and this property is not in a special hazard flood zone, which is good news. In Florida, that can sometimes be tricky. It's also not, there are no wetlands on the property. So all of that is, yeah. We can follow up on that. We did just call them like 2 days ago, and they said no RVs, but we can double check that, confirm one more time. Like I said, it's always a good idea for you to call the county and do your own research as well. You know, sometimes you can get conflicting information. Again, like I said, depending on who you talk to. All right. And then just in terms of soils, so it does have similar soils to the other parcels in the area. So this soil type does have lots with homes on it. So that's a good sign for septic. Okay. Now let's move on to the next property, number 792. And this is also in a similar area just to the north of Interlaken. Lake Grandin is nearby. And like the other property, there are homes nearby, but it's still very green here. This is a treed lot. You get a fair amount of privacy in this area. And we can see that from the drone footage here. This does also have access. Oh, 2 weeks. 2 weeks unless they change it. Okay. Yeah, I can double check that. Maybe they do allow like a 2-week temporary camping. Right, so we can take a look at this property in the drone footage. Again, we have the panoramic view on the ground. And they went to winter vacation. I think they do say that they allow, let me pause this for a second. They might allow accessory uses, so maybe you could call that an accessory use. With a special permit, they allow wildlife pets and keeping of a horse. I didn't look at that before. Interesting. Right, so, and this is also off of a maintained dirt road. There are power lines about a quarter of a block away. Right, and you can see the full drone video on our listing page. I'll scroll down to the lot details. Again, you can find the assessor's parcel number and legal description here, as well as a link to the approximate GPS coordinates. And this is also zoned residential R2, so all that same information applies: mobile homes, tiny homes, and restrictions on RVs. This would also be well and septic, and there's no HOA. Yeah, it's quite open. That's why we like Putnam County. They're still fairly unrestricted compared to many areas. I often like to say it's like old school Florida, back where people could find a place to go and just sort of be whatever they want. All right, so let's take a quick look at the overlays here. Similar soil type to the other property. Oh wait, did this not pull up the right one? me double check this is right. Okay, there we go. So this one, also similar soil to all the homes in the nearby vicinity. Good sign for building. Okay, let's turn off the soil overlay and just check wetlands. No wetlands. And no special hazard flood zone. And of course, like the other property, this is a flat area. This one's at an elevation of 130 feet. Okay. So our next lot is 795, and all of these are 0.22 acres. So this one on the map is a little closer to Interlaken than the other two. Similar subdivision, a few more homes in the vicinity on this one. You can't locate your own property. Yeah, I was pulling up the first one. I still had the old APN copied. Yeah, so this one, there's a little more development in the area. And there are power lines right in front of the property, also on a well-maintained dirt road. This is also treed. We can take a look at the drone footage here. We get an ad. Okay. So here we have the, yeah, we won't have to worry about walkout basements here. That's why Abby likes Florida. Abby's my partner. If anyone didn't see our previous live stream. All right, so again, here are the power lines, dirt road, well-maintained, treed, but there are a number of homes in the nearby area. And if we go over the lot details, again, assessor's parcel number, I'll make sure to copy it this time. Legal description, proximate GPS coordinates, also zoned R2, so same allowable uses, and well and septic would be required. And we'll take a quick look at the property here, just to check for wetlands and special hazard flood zone. Oh, we got stuck. Let's try. Okay. All right, so this one accidentally clicked, sorry. It's this one here. So no special hazard flood zone, no wetlands, and we are at an elevation of 160 feet about. Yeah, same area, but spread out. It can be hard to buy adjacent lots right at the same time, unfortunately. But when you buy a property from us, we do have a neighbor lookup tutorial that we provide for free. So if you did want to try and reach out to one of the neighbors and see if they wanted to sell, you could use that tutorial to look them up. Oh, yeah. All right, and here's our last property, similar area. Also, this one's pretty close to Lake Grandin. A little more activity going on in this area, a few more homes. Also has power lines in front of it and a maintained dirt road. Here's some homes built nearby. We can take a look at the drone footage. Yeah, this area has properties of various sizes ranging from, I think, like 0.14 acres up to 1 acre. The larger lots are fewer and kind of harder to find. So, but I think the bulk of them are about 1/4 acre to 1/2 an acre in this area. And we do currently have a number of other properties in Putnam County as well, which you can take a look at on our main listing page. Okay. And then property details, again, you can find the assessor's parcel number here, the legal description, approximate GPS coordinates, and this is also R2, so same spiel about allowable uses. So let's check for wetlands and special hazard flood zone. Ooh, this was still pulling up. Right, so this one's at an elevation of about 120 feet. And there's no special hazard flood zone and no wetlands. Right. So those are the 4 properties for today. I'm going to have to do a little research on the RV because there's a possibility that temporary RV use is allowed, but not full-time RV living. Okay, so these again were properties 791, 792, 795, and 799 if you wanted to find them on our listing page. Yeah, there are still some larger parcels in this subdivision that haven't yet been broken up. They don't come into market quite as frequently. But it is, in this area, it is possible to get a little bit more land. We do also have a number of other parcels in Putnam County, so you can find all of them on our, yeah, I know, YouTube's filtering out Southern Grids. You're not able to post it. Maybe if you put a space before the period so we can at least see what it is. But yeah, you can find all of our Putnam properties at land.gocat.com. And as I mentioned, we do offer, oh, thank you, Zaphael. Yeah, we do check for special hazard flood zone. This area, we haven't found too many properties in a special hazard flood zone. But of course, yeah, Florida, that's always a concern. So, but yes, with almost all of our properties, including these 4, we do offer owner financing. And with owner financing, we actually don't have set terms. We like to tailor the owner financing terms to meet the needs of each individual buyer. So just let us know what kind of down payment and monthly payment would work for your budget, and we'll come up with terms that make the property affordable for you. And just for reference, yeah, it's very good at blocking links, unfortunately. And just for reference, all of these properties are currently priced at $7,995 plus the dock fee. I will be upfront with 2 things with owner financing. So the first is that the higher the down payment, the lower the interest rate we can provide. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your budget. The other thing is that we do say no living on or building on the property until the end of the loan term. And that's for liability reasons, but you can use the property for recreational purposes, or you can make, often we allow minor improvements, and that's generally anything that doesn't require a permit. So something like a fence, clearing a portion of the property for a future home site. Some of our buyers have put small sheds on properties to store like recreational equipment when they go out and use the property for recreational purposes. So things like that. If you have some kind of minor improvement you'd like to make during the owner financing term, just let us know and we'll work with you. The other thing is we don't have a prepayment penalty. So when you're ready to build, you can always pay off the loan early. There'll be no extra fees and you'll actually save on interest. And on top of that, if you pay off early enough, we do have a cash back program. So if you pay off in the first 6 months, you'll get 5% cash back on the purchase price. And if you pay off in the first 12 months, you'll get 2.5% cash back on the purchase price. So what some people do is once they're ready to build, they'll go to a more conventional loan, like, or their local credit union, get a construction loan and use that to pay off the owner financing loan and get started with construction. So that's owner financing. it'll depend. I don't want to give an exact amount because we also look at like monthly payments and all of that. Yeah, and I would just be worried about giving an amount and then someone else reaching out with slightly different numbers proposed and then saying, well, I thought this was going to be the interest rate. But I'm happy to chat with you offline about what kind of interest rate we might be able to provide depending on the down payment. But we do try to work with people. Of course, a really large down payment like that would be great. So the other thing I will say is that when you purchase a property from us, you don't just get the property. We do provide a freedom bundle of 9 bonuses. All of these come with every purchase, whether owner financing or cash. And they include things like monthly landowner Q&A calls with me. The big draw for most people are the complimentary vacation voucher. Oh no, I know it's a fair question and probably what a lot of people are asking. I just don't want to put out exact numbers because everyone's going to have slightly different numbers that they're proposing. And yeah, I don't want to confuse people or give like false expectations. But we will, yeah. I mean, to be upfront, because it's owner financing, it is going to be higher than the rate you would get from a conventional bank. So I will be upfront about that. Yeah, thank you, Southern Grits. I'm also going to look into that a little more because I know RVs, like so many people want RVs. It's an important requirement for many land buyers. Okay. So, but yeah, the big bonuses for many people include the complimentary vacation voucher, hotel savings card, and restaurant savings card. And these could help either offset the cost of going to visit the property or a vacation to celebrate. You do also have the option of requesting a 30-minute architectural consultation with me, because I do have a background in architecture. And then every purchase comes with the homesteading guide, building and zoning guide, and post-closing checklist, as well as the neighbor lookup tutorial that I mentioned earlier. So you can look up neighbor's address if the neighboring parcels are vacant and send them a nice letter introducing yourself. So these all come with every purchase. They are given when the deed is recorded. So that's either upfront with the cash purchase or at the end of the loan term with owner financing. They have a value of about $5,675. The last thing with owner financing is we do have a 365-day land exchange guarantee. So we do try to keep things flexible for buyers. And what this means is that in that first year that you're financing the property, you do have the option to exchange the property for a different one in our inventory if you either decide that this property no longer works for you, or we get a new property that you like, that's like the perfect property for you and you want more than this one. So you do have that option to exchange one time in that first year that you're owner financing. All you'd have to do is pay the doc fee again. And that way you know that you can get the property that really works for you. Right. So that covers owner financing. Of course, I'm always happy to answer any other questions. My team is happy to answer any questions as well. You can give us a call, email, text. We will answer all your questions about the property. My team's very knowledgeable about our lots. And finally, how to buy the property. I should be upfront about that. Owner financing actually does usually come with higher interest rates, but we don't do like a minimum credit score requirement, which is actually something I should be calling out more. There's no minimum credit score requirement. So we have more relaxed standards I guess you could say, than conventional lenders. But for that reason, it is going to be a higher interest rate. So that is something to keep in mind. And if you did want to purchase, we do have an automated checkout process. We actually have a hold process that's automated as well. So if you want time to do your due diligence and don't want to risk having the property go off market or have someone else buy it, you can hold the property. It's $50 for 2 days, and you can hold for up to 8 days. And you just click buy or hold, and here's the automated process. So there's the hold button there. And if you did want to buy with cash, there's an automated checkout process as well. Otherwise, if you're interested in owner financing, give us a call, and we will go over owner financing terms with you. All right. So you can find, and again, you can find all information about these properties at land.gocap.com. On top of that, we do have a free land giveaway promotion, which you can learn more about on our YouTube homepage, Gocap Capital. And there's a free land giveaway, a short free land giveaway video. We are giving away a free property on January 1st to get the word out about the company. So if you'd like to participate, you can watch this. Do you recommend or partner with any lenders out of curiosity? Yeah, that's another good question. We've thought about that. The problem is because our properties are all throughout the U.S., it would be hard to be able to recommend just a handful of lenders. So we haven't been able to partner with anyone. I do know that generally it can be hard to get financing just for a land purchase. It's a little easier if you're going to roll it into a construction loan, so land purchase plus construction. Those who are able to get loans, it's usually like local banks, and it would be better if they're local to the property area. But yeah, so for that reason, we can't recommend, or we haven't been able to partner with anyone, but are happy to help to the extent that we can. Yeah, like I said, it's usually easier to get construction loans, though, than loans just for the land purchase, unless you're starting to purchase much higher value properties. I think anything under $50K, it can get harder. That's also why we offer owner financing. Yep. So you can find all the information on the free land giveaway on our homepage. We will be giving away the lowest value property in our inventory on January 1st. So come check it out. We're also live every day, my partner and I, at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we do free property reviews. So if you're looking at other properties and you'd like us to review them for free, join any day at 2 p.m. Eastern and leave your property in the comments. Otherwise, just join to take a look at interesting properties with us. So again, you can find these 4 lots that we just took a look at land.gocap.com. And thank you everyone for joining. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out or join one of the live streams, and you can leave your questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them. So thank you, everyone. It was good to see you all again.